welcome to a special edition of Vaught's Vault of Horror. I'm coming to you from LA HorrorCon in downtown Los Angeles. It's my first time here. I came down to just get a couple of autographs, but I figured I'd see what else is going on around here. So over here we've got Psychic, which you usually find those at any horror convention. Everett D'Angelo and Carrie Keegan from Jason Goes to Hell. I just got her autograph, which was funny because I just at the cabin yesterday. You saw that video. And we have a bunch of different vendors, different booths. It's one thing I love about coming to horror conventions. You never know what you're going to find. Find a lot of original, unique artwork and collectibles and figures.
Is Sean Cassidy, the son of the actor who played Lurch. Keeping it in the family business.
There's Alan Howard, who co-composed the scores for Halloween 2 and 3 with John Carpenter, and then composed Halloween 4 through 6 by himself.
For Ben to walk in his first audition scene, he gave the iconic "You Ray," and the rest is history.
Hi everyone, we're here on Vaught's Vault of Horror. I'm here with Alan Katz. This is very special for me because Alan was a producer and writer of Tales from the Crypt, the TV show, producer on Demon Knight, and if you know me, Demon Knight is the movie that got me into horror. I love that movie. I just watched it last night, and he's also a writer-producer on Bordello of Blood, which I saw in the theater when I was only 15 years old. And Alan has a podcast called How Not to Make a Movie, as you can see. And the first season of that podcast is all about the making of Bordello of Blood, and I mean, this has some of the craziest stories you can imagine in Hollywood, and that's saying a lot. Now they've moved on to interviewing other people, other industry professionals, some of that.
What we do in the podcast is it's an inside baseball, nuts and bolts conversation between people about the craft and doing what we do, and what happens when things screw up in the craft turns to crap.
Which happens a lot.
Unfortunately, on Bordello of Blood, it happened every day. Because we were supposed to make Bordello. After the success of Demon Knight, which was a very successful movie, we set out to make a whole other movie. The second movie, we were making a psychological thriller called Dead Easy. And we all were very passionate about Dead Easy. It was a psychological thriller with a great villain, a Harlequin character. We spent 6 months in New Orleans prepping for Dead Easy. 3 weeks before the start of principal photography of Dead Easy, Universal Pictures pulled the plug. They said, come back from Los Angeles. You're not going to make that movie. You're going to make such a thing called Bordello of Blood instead. Because they had made a deal with Bob Zemeckis at Universal. And one of the deal points was that they bought the first student script that Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale ever wrote together at USC called Bordello of Blood. They bought it for $500,000 just to make Bob, so we could put a couple of bucks into Bob Gale's pocket. This is a really good friend of mine. Universal didn't want to eat the $500,000 they paid for the script, and they turned to look at us and thought, hey, wait a minute. This little Cornelius spent $50,000 on that script, screw that. So they threw out Dead Easy, and they said, you're going to make Bordello of Blood. And said, hey, it's got Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale's name on it. It's better than your names on it. So there was nothing we could do. We were made, we were, in essence, forced to make Bordello of Blood instead. And it really was a movie that nobody who made that movie wanted to make. Nobody. As opposed to Demon Knight, which everybody was happy making that movie. So, yeah.
And now you have 2 other podcasts going on.
I've got 5 different podcasts in production right this second. In addition to the How Not to Make a Movie podcast, we do one called The Donor. We just finished this. The Donor is a 7-part series. An absolutely true story of a friend of mine. In the mid-1980s, he worked his way through medical school as an anonymous sperm donor. Jump forward 25 years, he becomes one of the first customers of a new company called 23andMe. He's curious about his health needs. A couple of years go by and suddenly there are more and more clientele. The thing is, my friend didn't consider the implications of adding more DNA to a growing DNA database. And suddenly, 7 total strangers found data, except 6 of them had no idea that their actual biological father was a product of a sperm donation. Now that their actual biological father was a sperm donor, I should say. That their actual biological father was a sperm donor. This blew all their minds. The seventh of these people, they were aware of it. It was a young woman. She was aware that her father was a sperm donor, and she'd been looking for him for a year. Their relationship turned really. That's the donor. We doing another podcast called Prisoner X, which is also true stories about people who are prisoners in America and around the world, but who shouldn't. And the podcast mission is to turn them from prisoners into X.
Wow, that sounds like you're doing some good work on that one.
Well, there's so many stories to tell. The great thing about podcasting is, making movies and TV shows. The problem is from the idea in your head to the audience getting to enjoy it and react to it. There are a gazillion assholes standing in the room. The great thing about podcasting, there's only one asshole. It's me. Like that.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time today, Alan, and I will drop a link to those podcasts so people can check them out. And thank you for watching Vaught's Vault of Horror. Thank you, Alan.
Sorry for coughing.
It's okay.
My throat got dry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. And this guy's talented.
All right, how cool is that? What a full circle moment for me, from Demon Knight being the movie that got me into horror to Alan Katz being the first person I interviewed on Vaught's Vault of Horror. That was incredibly cool, and it was very nice and generous of him to agree to do that. So that was definitely a highlight of this con for me. And with that being said, I'm signing off from LA HorrorCon. Until next time.